What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Mr. Straight Facts Show. I am Mr. Straight Facts. Let's get into what's been going on since, I guess, the beginning of, even before the administration. Everybody has seen that RFK has been firing some of these CDC people, lead people on vaccinations and, just overall American health. The way Americans find out, what's up, Woke Mike, that our health regimens and things that we need in this country is through the CDC. Through the pandemic is how we found out, through the CDC and others, what we needed to do, how we need to do it to save us. Now, through the CDC, we've gained the ability to save our family members and friends and loved ones who have HIV and cancer, and HIV, AIDS, also helping us with cancer and different other things. Had it not been for those doctors and those brains, we would still be having massive flu would still be killing us. The COVID would be still killing us. Diseases from way back in the day that are still here, but we found somewhat of a cure for, would still be killing us. The measles right now is killing us. These people are in positions in where they know nothing about. Now, we've been talking about, Donald Trump turned this into a dictatorship. You'll notice the name of this live today, this podcast today, is Trump and his administration are trying to kill us. It's what dictators do. Now, I'm not one to be hyperbolic or dramatic or anything like that. I deal with the facts. And yes, I get pissed when I start seeing the facts, and those facts are happening again and again and again and again, and we're doing nothing about it. Not even talking about it. I haven't seen it on the news yet or anything about what's going on with CDC and how that relates to history. This is the problem, ladies and gentlemen. We have got to stop just dealing with the news of the day as if it's just something fucking new. We have got to look back into the recesses of history. That's the reason why it's there, so that we can learn. Scientists learn how to, help us with the flu, help us with, HIV, AIDS, cancer, because they look back in the past of people who have passed away and seen certain things. They study our bodies after we're gone to see how things affect the human body. They do studies. These are bright human beings, opposite of Donald Trump and RFK. I don't understand how we've gotten so far away from realizing that we're not the smartest motherfuckers in the room, and that we should be proud of that. Compared to them in science, I'm a fucking idiot. I can say that. It doesn't hurt because they deserve the accolades they have because the lives they've saved, the hours they put in. They're experts at this shit. And how do we get somebody, RFK, a guy who eats weird animals, cuts off the heads of sharks? He heard, a whale actually, he heard on the radio or something like that a whale washed up. I'm guessing it may have been some kind of police scanner or some shit. He grabbed his young daughter, I think it was a daughter, but a young child, drove to the beach just to cut its head off. This is the dude running our department now, our health department, DHS. He knows nothing about health or science. I guarantee you he probably can't spell department. This man. Did you hear him today say some crazy shit like he knows the health of our children is bad because he walks around and looks at people, sees kids and they're swollen, and he's diagnosed them by the way they look. Could they be overweight? Could they have water retention? This fool's giving them diseases based off of what he sees, not talking to him. If he's able to see diseases, he should know that Donald Trump's a dipshit. If he can see it, a man that stumbles over his words, a man that goes on and talks about he's successful when he fucking up, you should see it. If you can see little kids and tell me what kind of disease they got, and you're not in a hospital where somebody told you, oh, little Timmy has rickets or some shit, then you could tell. The doctors determined it. This fool says he can see people and tell you you have a disease. That's tantamount to what he said. Seeing kids swollen and things like that and giving them fucking diseases. What? That is what we have leading our Department of Health and Services. I started to realize something. His family thought he was batshit crazy. They didn't just dislike him. They thought something was wrong with him. And there is. But what does him and Donald Trump have in common? Hate. You can see in his eyes, he hates science. He hates it. Health and science is something he hates. Why? Because listen to him. He got a chip on his shoulder. He used to talk normal. Now he sounds like he's got a vibrator in his mouth at all times. Life can be a bit sometimes. But he wants to blame it on other people than living his own fucked up lifestyle. So he's out here wanting to be the head of something. Think about this for a second, ladies and gentlemen. The unmitigated gall for a man who's just mad at the fact that, you know, in life, he got this vibrator mouth disease. And we all got something, but he got that. And he's blaming the whole world that he's willing to fuck up everybody else's life because his is fucked up. This man is not trying to save people. He's trying to destroy people. Again, like I said, the name of this is Trump and his administration are trying to kill us. And it's not something new. You got to go back and look at history, how dictators roll. And now you got to start to understand, media and people out there, if you're looking at the development of a dictatorship in history, it's been done many a times. And you start to see not one, not two, but in this domino effect of knocking down each little tentacle of democracy and going straight to a dictatorship, we got a whole table here, I say, filled with dominoes. Trump has knocked down many of these things already. How many of the dominoes have to fall before you realize what kind of fucking trouble America's in right now? And the idea that not only Donald Trump, but RFK, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, all of them enemies of the state. All of them. There is no way that you keep knocking down the pillars of democracy and keep telling us and gaslighting us that it's nothing. All of them have to be in on it. Steve Bannon, all of them. You can't tell me you can't see this. Nobody is this fucking blind. Ray Charles is dead and blind. He can still see the shit. You can't tell me you don't see it. So now we have to get to the other side of this. They see it and they're doing it on purpose. They've joined in this devilish idea of taking power over everybody. These people don't like America. They hate America for what it is. This melting pot shit, oh, they hate it. They want this shit to go back to where America was great again, where white men ruled and everybody else bowed down. And if we got to kill people in this country to do it, we got to make them afraid of everything, we'll do it. If we got to break everybody down and only the rich survive, we will do it. Then we will build it back into the image of what we want it to be. It sounds scary because it is. And as you start to see these dominoes fall, you see where they're going. Now, you may have a fear of you don't want to ever go there, but if you don't fight it, that's where we're going. You're starting now to see some of these, Democrats and senators and mayors and governors starting to rise up and say this. And you even saw, if you watched, it was a clip that I saw. I didn't see where it was on. It was Governor Gavin Newsom trying to ring the alarm, literally saying to everybody, do you see where we're going? Did you see where we're going? He's saying that. Wake up. This man is trying to turn us into a dictatorship, and we have to save it. Wake the fuck up. Even Trumpsters, you guys don't want a dictatorship. No matter how much you hate the libs, you're going to hate being in a dictatorship because guess what? Your Second Amendment is gone, baby. If he don't want you to have one, you can't have one. Do you see how he's going to every state? The ones that you guys don't care about? If he could take it from one state and you're okay with it, he's going to come to your state eventually when you piss him off. You got to understand something, MAGA. Donald Trump's an equal opportunity hater. Right? The men and women that he fucked over in business were mostly white people. Republicans, Democrats alike. They were just businessmen and women. He fucked them over. The hundreds, if not thousands of jobs in each one of those fucking casinos that people lost their money, they weren't all libs. They were Republicans, Democrats, people who didn't vote, people who had families, people who had sick families. He didn't care. So why do you think he cares about you? You have to know he doesn't. You care about him because he makes you feel the way you want to feel. And that is racist, sexist, xenophobic. He makes you feel powerful because the shit he says is the shit you believe in. And therefore you put yourself in his place. And when he speaks, he's speaking for you. Yeah, but when it turns into a dictatorship, which it will, because all he's doing is romancing you, suckering you. You're a simp. You're a sheep. You do what he says because he makes you feel good in this racist, free type of way. But you have to understand something. He's not focusing on you. He's focusing on him. You notice that every Republican that turns on him, and not necessarily turns, it's like, I got to quit because I can't do this, or just doesn't want to vote his way, he fucks with. He destroys their lives. And it's so much so that none of you will fall from his wayside because you're worried that your neighbors won't talk to you no more. Your loved ones won't talk to you no more because you guys are all in this hateful clique. So now you're in a community of hate, hate, hate. And you're enjoying it because you guys have a good time together. Hating on the libs, the ones who fought so that you can have the life you're leading. I want you to understand something. With the CDC and what he's doing, and I'll repeat it again, the Trump administration is trying to kill us, is what dictators do. Now, what I mean by that is very easy. You understand the words. I want you to understand that this is exactly what Hitler did. And I know some people, Hitler. Shut up. I'm getting tired of people discounting Hitler because they don't want to hear it. And I got another thing. My Jewish brothers and sisters, I don't understand why you guys aren't rising up. I don't hear your voices. And I promise you, I'm looking for them. I'm looking for Jewish voices. I've been looking all over TikTok. The Jewish people that I've been seeing are talking about Israel and Palestine. You're not talking about Hitler and Trump. This may be because you may not know your history. Now, I'm not going to say that you don't. But it's strange how if you do know your history, you're not screaming at the top of your fucking lungs that this right here is Hitler Jr. Maybe grandma and grandpa didn't educate you enough. Or maybe you just know the murdering aspect of it, the end. Maybe you don't know how it all built up to the end. So that's why whenever you bring up Hitler, even when Elon Musk threw out the How Hitler signed, the Jewish organization, I forgot the name of it off the top of my head, literally came out and said it was just an awkward movement. How in the fuck can you say doing the Heil Hitler sign? Who messes up and does that shit? Huh? Nobody. How did that organization come out and say it was a strange movement? I don't know, Jewish people. I'm calling you out right now, but I want you to understand something. Go look at the history of Hitler and what he did to people's health in Germany. All of it was for a reason. And Donald Trump is knocking down that domino too. He put military in the cities there, just like Donald Trump, talking about crime and shit. He said fake news. That's 2 dominoes. He talked about only he can save people. Hitler. He created an issue when there wasn't any issue, just so that he can be the savior of it. Donald Trump has done that numerous times. In the first administration and this administration. We're about to read the comparisons. And again, mainstream media, Jewish people getting offended about Hitler. Shut up. Shut up. I'm trying to save your dumb ass. You're sitting here acting like this ain't the same fucking thing. It is the exact same fucking thing. How many, like I said, dominoes where Hitler and Donald Trump are compared to be doing the exact same things? How many dominoes got to fall? Do your dumb ass have to wait until you start throwing you into concentration camps? Oh, wait a minute. Already did it. Already did it. Through the Latin people. Into alligator Alcatraz. You didn't notice it when that happened? Huh? I mean, there was even a cartoon about it. There was a cartoon about it. And I think they used chickens or some shit. Chicken Run or some shit. I forgot the name of it. But it was about the Jewish culture. They threw you into cages. That was the first step. Or at least early step. Cooking you didn't come till much later. And you don't recognize that? At least you can go to the cartoon and figure it out with your simple ass. But really go to the history books and look at it. Again, quit looking at the end of Hitler. Quit looking at the near the end of Hitler. Look at the very first beginning of how it started. Donald Trump's not going to start at the end. He's starting at the beginning. And he's so far in the middle of this bitch. You still haven't recognized it. Concentration camps. Otherizing people. Now he has somebody who's trying to fulfill his ideology over health and services. People quitting because they don't want to tell you and me a lie that's going to kill us. They took an oath to protect, to save us. And you put a bunch of dipshits that can't even count to 10 in there trying to tell brainiacs what the fuck to do. They should just sit their asses down and listen, because they have no fucking understanding of anything to deal with health and sciences. They don't even believe in science, yet they're leading it. This is a war between dipshits and people with intellect. Dumbass people are leading this country. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Dumbass people, not people who are not smart. No, dumbasses. They have no fucking clue what they're talking about. Scientists are ringing the alarm bell like, yo, I ain't going down this route. They won't even put their name on Donald Trump's agenda. The brightest in our country don't want to put their names. They're quitting. They're leaving their paychecks fucking behind. Would you quit your job if you just had a minor disagreement? No. You quit your job because these people are maniacal and you're not about to be a part of it. These people are breaking laws and you don't want to be a part of it. These people are against morality and they know that whatever they're trying to do is going to kill a shit ton of Americans. They don't want to be a part of it. Their job is to save us, not kill us. So why do you ask yourself that Donald Trump puts a dipshit in a position where our men, women, babies, children, all that are dying right now due to decisions that they've made? People are dying from the fucking measles. Shit that we cured a long fucking time ago. And why would it have an uprise? Because you got a dipshit running the science department, saying that he's not going to give COVID to people. We're about to go into the fall where this type of disease rises. Every fall, we're going and taking what? Flu shots. COVID-19 is a form of like a flu, but it's worse. It's a virus, of course. It needs to be a booster shot in the fall. It's starting to grow. This is the same shit that killed 1 million people because he didn't know how to manage the last one. Now he's in control of it. Boy, this man is at fault for 1 million people dying. No other country but us had that amount of people die. Everybody else managed it way better than us. So I'm getting tired of people saying, well, he wasn't in control of the pandemic. He didn't know exactly what pandemic was. It's a new thing. Then why did every other country do better than us? Almost every other country did better than us. That tells you this man does not know how to govern or manage shit. Everything he touches turns to shit. He has to buy gold to pretend like he touched it and it turned into it. It did not. Everything he touches dies. And here we are, going into a season where many of your wives, children, husbands, grandparents are going to die because this man has no fucking clue, nor does RFK know what the fuck he's doing. Nowhere in the fucking world would you not know what the fuck you're doing and you be at the head of something. You want to talk about white privilege and no merit. They like to say we're party of merit. Merit my ass. How do you call merit a man that has some kind of ailment and he's pissed off at the world because he got it, got a worm in his head, pissed off at the world because it happened, no responsibility on his part. And they're out here trying to kill Americans because they have no clue what the fuck they're doing. They've never saved one life with anything they've ever done in their life, yet they're in charge of 300 and something million people and you're not freaking the fuck out? That's like saying, going to a doctor and saying, you know what, they say I got cancer. Oh, really? Yeah, okay, hold on for a second. Let me tell you the person to go talk to. And then they call up somebody and send you to a restaurant and tell you a waitress is going to take care of you. Like, that bitch don't know nothing about fucking cancer? How the fuck she's serving chicken? You going to tell me this chick is going to help me with cancer? That's the same shit with this dipshit. We got viruses going all over the place. People getting sick with different types of diseases. And this dipshit has no fucking clue. He could probably make a pancake, but he fuck sure can't do anything about science. Them talking to him, boy. Have y'all ever been in a meeting or went to a function at a church or some community center and they start telling you, well, let's just take the community center. And they said, well, we're going to try and help the community lift themselves up and teach you about technology. And you don't know shit about technology. And they're in there talking about bits and, technology, zeros and ones way back in the day. They're telling you about all this other shit. They're telling you about Wi-Fi and they're telling you all the technology and the infrastructure and coding and Python. You're like, this bitch talking about a snake? You have no clue what's going on? Not knowing that Python is a code. This fool's over here thinking about, we're going to be watching the snake today. Just confused as fuck. Do you really think in the meetings in which these scientists are talking, this fool understands what the fuck they're talking about? He does not. Hasn't a clue. So who is his translator from dipshit to smart? Because this man said he can look at a child and tell there's something wrong because he's swollen a little bit. I'm not getting this, yo. I'm not getting this. They're not doctors. They're not scientists. You don't belong in the room. Just have to admit, that's not your forte. But for some reason, these fools think they belong when they don't. That's that white privilege disease. I belong here. No, you don't. You do not. You as a lawyer, you belong in a courtroom or law office. Just because you're white does not give you the validation to be any and everything without having an education or some kind of background in it. Who thinks that shit? If somebody called me up today and said, Drew, I want you to come and be an investor at Bears and Stearns, making $400,000 a year. We need your expertise in investing. I would look at that and be like, you got the wrong motherfucker. I ain't got shit to do with that. I'm not taking a position because I don't want the stress of going into a room and not knowing what the hell they talking about. Just collecting a check with like no understanding of what the fuck I'm doing. This fool walked into the door, became the leader, having meetings, sitting there just biting his nails and shit, having no clue what they talking about. All he knows how to do is complain, bitch and moan. You know what he's talking about? You know what I'm talking about? Just cause havoc. But I promise you, people who are doctors or have a doctorate degree or even speak to a doctor, senators and congressmen and women, and come in and just start speaking doctors speak. Just do it to him. And I guarantee you, he will have no fucking clue what you're talking about because his dipshit, the intelligent translator, is not there. And whoever this quote unquote intelligent person is going to be one of these far right nut jobs that understands it but believes in the very, very minute of anybody ever giving a damn flat earther type mentality people. It's going to be like, oh yeah, it's going to be the opposite of what every doctor and scientist has ever said in American history. This dipshit is going to validate. Remember last time we had the COVID, right? I remember Donald Trump walked out a bunch of white coat doctors, quote unquote doctors, and I remember the black lady from some other country, African country or some shit, and she came out there just spewing some of the most idiotic shit. I'm like, this woman is not a doctor. Yes, she is. I don't know what kind of doctor she is, but go look up what she's saying. Nobody believes in it. She's talking about this damn horse pill shit that what's his name? The podcast guy, I forgot his name at the top of my head right now. He took it. The one who voted for Donald Trump and now having, doubts and shit like that. He took that shit. That doctor and the ones behind her were fucking idiots. I don't know what kind of hospital, a school they went to learn. I don't know the accreditation. But no doctors. Joe Rogan, thank you, B-Money. No doctors validated her, except for these idiots that he found. Where'd he find them? Those are the types of people he's having lead this damn country. I promise you in health. The dipshits that said take horse pills, horse medicine, for COVID. Jesus. You got to ask yourself, why would people want to give people fake information on purpose, knowing that none of this shit is validated? There's no doctor that would believe in it. They come up with stupid shit and go find a doctor that will agree to it. That's it. It's not real. It's what Donald Trump says. They go find some idiot that'll say it with a white coat. That idiot says it. And then the rest of the idiots in America start, oh, wow. See, that's the opposite. She got on a white coat. It's painful, yo. It is painful. But let's get into what I researched. This is a ripple of history and the erosion of integrity. That's what Donald Trump's been working on with our health. All this stuff is pushed together. Everything they're doing is the exact same shit that Hitler did. I mean, there's no deviation. It's just that we're America and there's things that have changed, but they're doing the same things to get the things in the past to happen again. It's crazy how Hitler learned how to do what he did to the Jews or the Jewish people. Sometimes that sounds kind of wrong. Did to the Jewish people, right? By studying America and what they did to the slaves. Jewish people studied slavery in America and decided to do their own thing with the Jewish people the exact same way, but added on. They didn't throw us in ovens. They figured out their own way to punish and harm. They went batshit crazy, as well as these people here went crazy, batshit crazy. But they tried to kick it up a notch, make it happen faster. They was like, we ain't trying to keep them as slaves. We're trying to get rid of them. So they cut through that whole process and tried to get rid of them. They learned from slavery to do to the Jewish people what they did to us. And now Donald Trump is trying to do the same thing to America that the Jewish people did, that they learned from us. It is insane. All right, and you can look that up. Not me, it's just the truth. Imagine a world where truth is not discovered, but dictated. In Nazi Germany, Hitler systematically gutted the institutions of independent inquiry. Meaning, you have an independent thought, he gutted those institutions that had independence. They all had to fall in line, like the CDC, like our library, the House and Senate, with Republicans being in control of it, all of that. Okay, academics, the schools, and scientists, particularly Jewish scholars in this situation. Now they're going after black scholars. They're going after any scholar that doesn't agree with them. They're going after institutions like our upper echelon institutions, like the Harvards and different other schools that they find that they want to be able to hurt. The media, same thing. We'll keep going. Particularly Jewish scholars were expelled from universities and research institutes. College professors, the heads of colleges, like the black lady who was the head, I forgot what school she was the head of, they let go of her. Well, they put pressure to the point where she had to resign. Other people doing the same thing, other schools under pressure. They're trying to get rid of people who are in law enforcement, trying to get rid of judges. All of these things are the exact same thing, not something like the exact same as Hitler. So that's why I don't understand why Jewish people aren't ringing the alarms. I don't know. I don't know if their leadership is behind it somehow, knowing that it's not going to be them this time. I'm not sure. I have no clue of what they're doing. That's not a fact. It's just shocking to me that they're not ringing the alarm bell. Are they too scared to say anything about it? I'm not sure. But, they said to you guys, Jews would not replace us. This is the same crowd that's in power now. They don't like you, and I don't understand why you're not fucking screaming off the top of your lungs. This is what happened to our ancestors. We can't let it happen again. Trust me, black people, if they see anything, which we have been, that's talking about going back to slavery, we ringing the fucking alarm bell. Every black person we see, we gonna say something. even if they don't agree in it. And they're more like Candace Owens and the Hodge twins and all them. We still gonna yell at them. We're gonna say, yo, I don't know what you them two. You like those people, conservative, but yeah, they trying to go by slavery. I'm out. We ain't gonna sit there and be just like, oh, let them just do what they got to do on their own. No, we're gonna ring the alarm bell. That's why I'm kind of freaking out that, I'm not freaking out. I'm more like pissed at them. Like, how the fuck don't you see this shit? I don't care what society tells you. Oh, don't say that because shut up. Read history. The hell, I ain't making this shit. I ain't pulling it out of my ass. I'm reading it. I'm learning it. And these are the exact same things they did. Particularly Jewish scholars were expelled from universities and research institutions. Take George Bredig. I guess it's George Bredig. Bredig. A renowned chemist who refused to pledge allegiance to Hitler and was forced out of his position in 1933. Just like the CDC, they refused to listen to Donald Trump and his minions' ideology of science, since they like, this shit don't make no sense. 1 + 1 don't equal 2 here. They're like, just say it's 35. I can't. People will die if I say it's 35. Okay, you're fired. Same shit that happened here. Hitler forced him out of position in 1933. He was renowned chemist. That means everybody wanted this fool. Everybody knew of him. And he let go of him because he didn't follow his agenda as opposed to reality. His brilliant career cut short by ideological coercion. That's what they want. Ideology coercion. They want you to just go along with the plan. Go with the flow. It don't have to be true. Just go with the flow. The same shit he said to Zelensky. It don't have to be real. Just say you got something on Biden and I'll do the rest. And Zelensky said, I can't do that, man. Zelensky had more respect for the American people than any of the people in the administration. They are the enemy of the state. Zelensky said no to lying to American people. And all these people under Trump, including Trump, are on purpose lying to the American people. Epstein files, lying to you. Everything, health, lying to you. Why would they do that to the people they say they love? Who are they trying to save? Because it sure in the fuck ain't you. It ain't a farmer. It ain't me. Because again, if you lie to the average people will die. The only people who will survive are the wealthy, the people who can afford whatever it is. And don't mistake this whole plan. I'm going to put it out there so you start to see when that next domino will fall. See, this whole idea of getting you like to not believe in true health, the Dr. Fauci is an enemy by telling you the fucking truth and saving people's lives for fucking 50, 60 years over a dude who can't even fucking tie his shoe and his ankle's as thick as a fucking watermelon. That dude is the one you're listening to. No education. Complete, utter idiot. And all of them in that whole sphere around him are dipshits. Cockeyed Cash Patel, idiot. Where's Dan Bongino? He got somebody to do his job for him. He collecting a check and he's been out of sight. I mean, somebody needs to throw like an APB out on him. He might be dead. He ain't seen this fool anywhere. Ain't no news caught him. TMZ ain't caught him. Nobody. This man just gone. Ain't seen him in the media whatsoever. Before, he was on every channel sitting next to, oh boy, like they were Beavis and Butthead. They were sitting there, every show, Fox, they come together, FBI and FBI assistant. And now Cash Patel is out there with his cockeyed ass and ain't nowhere to be seen. The bald-headed twin. Milk and Dud. They ain't nowhere to be seen together. You couldn't see one without the other before. And this was no isolated case. Institutions like the Kaiser Wilhelm Society purged over 100 scientists, devastating Germany's intellectual capital. That's what's happening to us. They're purging our scientists. Do you understand these scientists come from all over the world? We brought the brightest here. What people are going to come from another country to work with Donald Trump to lie to the American people? Maybe ones that hate us in Russia, they might come. But what would be the purpose of lying to the American people about health? Because what they're doing, no scientist believes it's helping us. Haven't heard one of them say it's helping us. You only heard them quit and say it's hurting us. So why would they be doing that? I thought they cared about you, MAGA. The Nazis even banned entire science journals, such as Nature, from libraries as a direct assault on free scientific discourse. Meanwhile, so-called experiments carried out in concentration camps, purely ideological, unethical, and brutal, betrayed any vestige of true science. Now, fast forward to today. The Trump administration is waging its own assault, not through guns and uniform, even though they have guns and uniforms in the streets. In Washington, D.C., and going to every black-led state, Democratic, but via regulatory and institutional power. At the heart of this storm lies the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. In the early months of the COVID-19 pandemic, White House operatives sought to manipulate or delay critical science findings in the CDC's Morbidity and Mortality Weekly Report, filtering scientific messages through a political lens. The first time, if you don't remember, Donald Trump was trying his best to tell them to stop doing any kind of test, because if you don't know about them, it doesn't exist. So he wanted us to not know how many people were dying, because then it would sound like none of them are dying. So therefore, if we don't report on it, we won't know that they died. Does that sound like somebody who cares about people? He said if we don't do the testing, we won't know how many people died. That was his thing. Go back and look at it. I was like, what the hell are you talking about, bro? No matter what, these people are still going to be dying if you don't report it. You care about what you look like, how bad you were in organizing this, because every country was coming out with its numbers and they were less than ours. You on the world map looked like a complete dumb fuck. And that was his problem. The rest of the world was seeing how horribly America, the greatest country in the world, was fucking up during this time. This man lied to the American people. And the only time we heard the truth from him was in a interview that he had, that he knew MAGA wasn't going to listen to. That he knew that, in exact words, he said 5% worse than the flu. He said, you know how much that is? It's like 5,000 times worse than the fucking flu. But still, he was out there telling people it's like the flu. While he was taking precautions, Americans were dying. And I can only think that he was rejoicing in our family's death. Because you can't send people off to die and then be like, oh, we got to send off prayer. No, you should have sent off good information so that our family members would still be here. But they're not here because you made this a political situation. Other countries, I just saw where New Zealand, they went back way before we did. Now they had another fault, a situation where when it first hit, they went with the science, and the science told them about the distancing and closed down the city and state. They did it immediately. They didn't waste it. They didn't politicize it, nothing. And then out of nowhere, it was like no more cases. They had 0 cases of it. And they all came back way before we did. And then they had a second strand. That second strand they had to close down again, and people were listening to Donald Trump's ass in New Zealand. They came to the prime minister in New Zealand protesting with Trump signs. I mean, there are crazy ass white people all over the fucking world listening to Sir Dipshit, getting validated to be as dumb as fucking possible. But they did better, and other countries did better than us. Donald Trump was the biggest loser, and even more so, we were. We were his casino when it came to health, and he massively failed. 1 million people. He could have managed that better, but you're talking about how do you manage a pandemic when you can't manage a hotel casino that doesn't fucking lose money? Everybody loses in the casino. It's like a very small percentage for you to fucking win. And you still go bankrupt 6 times? Come on, you want that person leading anything in America. It took this man 9 years to have a concept on health care. And then sign a bill, big beautiful bill, he calls it, that's killing health care for millions of people. 9 years to destroy health care instead of build it? At some point, you got to say this man is doing this shit on purpose. It ain't that he's just stupid. He's dumb and evil. He's doing this to his people on purpose. And while they're getting fucked over, they're loving on him because he fulfills their hate like gas tank. He fills it up for them. And they keep running on this hate shit. When it's down to fumes, Donald Trump does something stupid, then does something hateful, and it fills their little hate gas tank back up again. And they're out there loving on him again. This is the man that's in Jeffrey Epstein's files, the ones they were bitching and moaning about when they thought it was only Democrats in it. Had a whole conspiracy. So bad that people were going to restaurants and pizza places trying to find these kids in the basement of a pizza place. And then your dear leader calls you a dumbass because you're still talking about it. Just insane. Today, that interference is turned into upheaval. On August 28th, 2025, that is today, less than a month after her Senate confirmation, CDC Director Susan Monarez, I don't know how to say her name, I mess it up, was fired, reportedly for resisting directives that lack scientific foundation. Didn't make any sense scientifically, and she would not go with their ideology. So she just got hired and just got fired. Her dismissal triggered an exodus of senior figures like Doctors Deborah Horry, Daniel Jernigan, Jennifer Layden, and Dmitry Daskalakis resigned in protest of growing politicization within the agency. Science should not be political. If you tell me this is, a cell, it's a cell. If you tell me this is a cure, it's a cure. Right? You can't politicize that and say, oh, well, it's not a cure. But it is, though. But, I got to say no because then that would give the Dems a win. So it's not a cure. So you want me to hold back this solution here that's going to save millions of lives because you want to piss off people dying, and then you want to say, okay, I don't want to give them a win. I want them to seem like there's no solution. So when people are dying, they're blaming the Democrats that the solution never came out. I thought you had it, Democrats. I thought you did. And then once so many people die, oh, don't tell them this is the Democrat solution. Throw my name on it and make it different and put it in a different, container, and then ship it out as Trump's solution. and then we'll do it that way. And now everybody loves me after I lost my grandmother and my cousin and somebody lost their daughter and all this shit like that. Then this man wants to put something out to act like he did it when in fact the Democrats did it. That's about politicization. They're saying, I'm not doing this political shit. I came here to save lives. I saved the lives of Republicans, Democrats, independents, Christians, atheists. I don't care. If it's living, I'm going to do everything I can to keep it healthy and living. Politics shouldn't be in this. And that's why you have all this shit about people who don't like science, and it's all Republicans and just batshit crazy people. These people, if you can see, if they were really trying to harm us, do you think Donald Trump's trying to save us? Really? The dude that allowed 1 million people to die and said that it was going to be over in a minute? That you can put it in, light into your skin in a minute? That dude is one you're listening to. Oh my God. Daskalakis, his resignation cut through to the core. He condemned the manipulated data, suppression of scientific dialogue, lack of transparency. This is his quote, and that's unquote. And decried how political ideology was overriding public health, creating a climate he described as untenable. Under this administration, vaccine policy has unraveled. The vaccine advisory committee was dissolved. mRNA vaccine funding was canceled. The vaccine that saved millions of lives is now canceled. So if we have another pandemic of COVID, we don't have it. We don't have it in production, which means people will die before we get it back up to production if we have another pandemic. This shit just ended. Our shit ended, 2-3 years ago? The flu was 1919. It was over 100 years later. We've been getting a vaccine since 1920, whatever it was it took, 1920 something. You still get flu shots, some people, elderly people. A lot of people do get their flu shots every year because we don't want that pandemic to come back. And here we are just a few years shy of a pandemic. And they want to take away what was killing us, what was saving us, so that we can go back to 1 million people dying? Are you fucking kidding me? This was not a dream that was made up. This shit was real. You remember we were locked in a house for fucking 2 years. I don't care if you have a problem with the vaccine. I want to take the bitch. I'm not trying to die, and I'm not trying to test science so much to the point where it's like, oh, maybe it won't work for me. Shut up. You do your job, whatever it is, and you want people to trust that what you're doing, you know what the fuck you're doing. How would you like it every day you went to work, and you've been doing this shit for 20, 30 years, and somebody comes in and tells you that has no clue about what you do, that you're doing it wrong? And then they go about it, and it makes no sense. The shit don't add up whatsoever. And you want to sell this shit that don't make sense while you over here, educated, learn it, hardworking, can make this shit happen and work like that, healthy, it won't hurt you nothing. And you going to sit here and listen to the dipshit make you something that's poisonous, that's going to kill somebody. You're like, I ain't touching that shit. Would you sit there and take it from the idiot? No. Here we are. An idiot that has no idea what's going on, trusting people that just make him feel good. If he says, I don't want this vaccine to work at all, do you think it works? Yeah, it worked. Of course we did it. Oh, you're fired. Do you think it works? Yeah. Oh, you're fired. Do you think it works? No. Okay, come on with me. You just keep saying no. Whenever I tell you, you say no. Guess what, scientists? When people start dying, guess who these idiots going to blame it on? You. Oh, you gave me this information. You're the one that's going to be they're going to want to hang you. They're going to want to do everything they can to you because you gave them false scientific bullshit that you could not back up. You just said yes because Sir Dipshit and his little RFK said do it. That's why these people are saying no. It's their reputation. They know these fools will throw them under a bus in a heartbeat. They gave you something that will either kill you or harm you or not completely help you. You're going to go to the science. That's why when Dr. Fauci did what he did, these people blew up. Oh, we didn't have to wear masks. Blah, blah. I'm like, shut up. This man was not trying to make you wear masks because it was a joke. He made it so that you could live. And many of us did. Can't think of the pluses. Always thinking of the negative. I don't know about y'all. But and this is the thing I recognize the second year into COVID. I'm a person who has allergies every year, mildly, but I still take Claritin. You know, it's not like the whole time. It's like maybe a month or so during the season of allergy season, and I'm about a month or so into that. When I'm into that, I'm sneezing and eyes, all like solid shit in my eyes and shit. It's like it's not good. I'm wheezing and stuff. Claritin like knocks it right out. One a day, I'm good. So in that process of wearing that mask for 2 years, I never had a cold, I never had the flu, and I never had my allergies never fuck with me for 2 straight years. I had none of that. It wasn't until I took the mask off and shit like that when I caught COVID. And I caught it twice after I had gotten the vaccine. But that, to me, says, well, the first one I got before getting the vaccine. The second one I got after. It was a different strand or some shit like that. And I had to get another booster shot soon after that. But I took that vaccine, and it was sore and stuff like that, whatever. But with that mask on, I didn't have a cold or flu or allergies for 2 straight years. And I'm like, dude, just shut up and wear the damn thing. It's helping you. It really is. Every flu, every cold, gone. Gone. It was just insane to me. But those are the things that got people, like these weird people, like, oh my God, it was so wrong for us to have to wear masks. I'm like, what do you think he was trying to do? Kill you by making you, do whatever he could? Their whole thing was, and this is what got me, one of the Republican people who used to be my friend is no longer, because I just can't be around stupid too long. It's sickening. Made me want to throw up. But it's like, and this was a white guy, all wanting to, always like, his way or the highway. I'm like, dude, it's not the flu. And then when Donald Trump came out, finally said it was 5,000 times worse than the fucking flu, still didn't want to hear it. I'm like, dude, he just said it. I don't know where you guys are so blinded in the mind. You're a smart dude. How the hell did you get this stupid that quick? Is it because of just white people? He's white, you're white, and so you decide to just believe him? Because I don't understand how you believe somebody. When you're an intelligent man, how do you believe it? He has no answer for it. He can't be that bad. Oh my Jesus Christ. But that man, the things that again, saying that, losing friends over this shit about, look, dude, this is not make sense. We had to wear masks. Dr. Fauci was a good doctor. He helped even with AIDS. He helped with Ebola. This man, I appreciate him. Dedicated his whole life to this shit. Kudos. And he got one idiot, got the 30-something% of the damn country acting a fool. Like an idiot is better than a scientist. This is one of those things where stupid people want to feel like they belong. So therefore they try and get into positions that they don't belong. And when somebody in power gives a dumbass the power to feel like he or she is smart, they don't care if it's right or wrong. Right now, I'm a hot commodity. Dumb is the new smart. And they don't want anything to tear down that facade that I am now somebody that everybody has to listen to, even if it's stupid. That's why we are where we are. mRNA vaccine funding was canceled and unscientific voices were elevated into leadership roles. That's not evolution of policy, it's a gutted institution masquerading as reform. The fallout. Vaccination rates among school children are plummeting for the fifth year in a row. Measles roars back with over 1,300 cases and at least 3 deaths in 2025, this year alone. A public, and mind you, the last time we had a death from that, I believe, was like a decade ago or some shit like that. It's like now we've had 3 this year alone. And this dude is like, take vitamin A. Oh, Jesus. It's just prominent physician groups like the American Academy of Pediatrics and the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology have publicly defied the administration's rollback of vaccine recommendations, striving to uphold the evidence-based care amid collapsing authority. This unraveling is only a domestic tragedy. A wave of government removals of online data, including over 3,000 CDC pages, has stripped researchers and the public of vital health information. They've taken 3,000 CDC pages to help people understand like true science, like what's going on. It's been stripped so that researchers and public people can't get vital information. They've taken it away. Why? It could only harm people, not help them. In Nazi Germany, independent scientists were replaced with ideology. Scholars were silenced, institutions were co-opted, and truth bowed to doctrine. Today, when leaders weaponize public health agencies, the outcome, a collapse of trust, surges of preventable illnesses, and a blockade of scientific insight is no less ominous. Both eras, Trump and Hitler, share a tragic refrain. When leaders dismantle institutions of evidence, people suffer. Not just in statistics, they die. They lose faith in collective action and societies fracture. We saw what happened with Hitler when he did it. We're going down the same path. The same thing will happen to us. See, Hitler's people weren't aware of it. We have enough books and we have access to history via phones and so forth, technology. There's no reason why the American people aren't learned enough so that they won't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. But instead, they choose banana in the tailpipe and to be lazy and not read it. We could end it if we all knew what the hell it was. We don't know what it is, most people, because you haven't researched it. I understand our lives are busy, but the way you live life now won't be the same if you don't get off your ass and figure it out. It's just that simple. Don't wait until the enemy is at your door. It's too late then. And trust me, they're on their way to every state. They have no problem spending all this money. I told you, just in Washington, D.C. alone, they're spending $1.1 million a day. We could feed the homeless, hell, house the homeless, invest in the poor with that type of money every day. I thought we was out there to save with Doge. And here we are spending it all, policing our own citizens with the military. We already got cops out there. So my question is like I said here at the beginning, Trump and his administration are trying to kill us. And why would they be wanting to do something like that? Other than being hateful, you see what it was with Hitler's to get power. Domination. Pick the winners and losers. Authoritarians thrive in instability. When people are afraid, sick, or confused, they cling to strong figures who promise certainty. During COVID, the CDC and medical professionals became alternative centers of authority, trusted by many Americans more than the White House itself. That is intolerable to a leader who sees loyalty as paramount. So they had to make an enemy of Dr. Fauci because the world needed Dr. Fauci, not Donald Trump. That's the reason Donald Trump turned everybody all away from Dr. Fauci to hate him. Not everybody, but their minions, because everybody was leaning in to hear from the expert. Donald Trump wanted to be the expert. That's why he lied to his people and said it was nothing but the flu and that they can come on out, because he was defying true information and turning himself into the person that his leaders listened to. They listened to him and died by the tens of thousands every day. And he blamed Dr. Fauci and all of the other doctors for that failure because he did not want to take responsibility that he was sending these people out to their death. Everything that CDC was trying to do to save American lives, if we had listened to them, we probably would have saved at least 500,000 of those lives. But they listened to Donald Trump and it spread and it spread and it spread and people died and they died. And then when everybody was pissed off about having to stay at home and stuff like that and was dying, Donald Trump threw it all on Dr. Fauci's shoulders. We didn't need to wear a mask and blah, blah, blah. If we didn't wear a mask at the very beginning, more people would have died. Was it going to save us, like in a sense of if we caught it, mask was going to help? No. Help it from spreading? Yeah. But see, these people thought it was going to save their lives. It was there so that you can help save other lives around you. When 9/11 happened, we were all caring about each other. This pandemic was another 9/11, and everybody who wasn't wearing a mask, you were the people flying the fucking plane into the building. You didn't give a fuck about American citizens. You chose to walk around as a weapon of mass destruction just because of your own little fucking hurt feelings about wearing a fucking mask. And you call yourself patriots. To whom? You're enemies of this state. You're supposed to care about your neighbor, not try to kill them. If they tell you something's going to wear a mask, you wear it. In America, when we had the Spanish flu in 1919, you can go back and look at the photographs and pay attention to the history. They did not politicize it. The people did what they were told to do. Only you dipshits decided to fuck up everything, and a million people died because of your stupidity, because of Donald Trump's stupidity. These doctors are working day in and day out trying to save our lives. And once they did they get the credit from you? No. They got all the blame while the orange man who sent you out to rallies and sent you out everywhere else to catch this shit so your uncles and aunts and daughters and sons could die. You blamed it on Dr. Fauci instead of the man who told you that he didn't give a fuck about your kids at all because he told you to go and defy science. Like he's telling you now, your kids are going to die of measles listening to Donald Trump and RFK. Your kids are going to die of COVID this fall, Christmas, if you listen to these dipshits. It's up to you. I don't want to hear, oh, Timmy died of COVID. Did you get vaccinated? No, fuck you. I don't give a shit about you or your kid. You're the one that fucking killed that kid. COVID didn't. You did. Because you didn't pay attention to science. You paid attention to your fucking feelings. You didn't care about nobody else, so why the fuck should we care about you? By undermining science, Trump and his allies shift the public's dependence away from institutions and back toward the leader, Donald Trump. They believed in Donald Trump, not the doctor who saved people from horrific AIDS, coming up with scientific stuff that helped them earlier on when they were dying in droves. This was the man fighting for those family members who got AIDS back in the day when they thought they got it from monkeys. And to Ryan White, I think in the 80s, a white kid who died from AIDS because of a blood transfusion. He wasn't gay. This is what happened. 100%. This man was fighting for those kids who got it through blood transfusions, for those mom and dads who got it the same way, for the gay people who got it the same, whatever way that it was happening back then. But they were the ones working day in and day out to try and save our lives. Without them, more would have died. These are some of the same doctors. Dr. Fauci was there and his team was there. And instead of just sending him off, we did. Most of us as Democrats did, but these Republicans, your lives were saved because of this man. And you should be thanking him. But you're hating on him. Sending him messages of, hate mail and that you're going to unalive him and his daughters and all that shit. For a man who spent his life saving yours, preventing diseases. When President Obama was president, there was like 2 or 3 pandemics. It killed one of them killed like 2 or 3 people. The other one didn't kill anybody. We had a flesh-eating virus and they took care of that. So I think one person died from that. But they worked so hard and diligently that they thwarted that shit off. They even created a whole list, a format of what to do, because they said we were going to have a pandemic in the near future. Who knew it was going to be just a couple years after President Obama said that? And what happened? Donald Trump got rid of all the shit that was there. They destroyed the manual in which President Obama's administration left them. Dr. Fauci left them. They destroyed it. All the masks and shit and the storage depleted. And when it happened, what did they do? Blame Obama for it. You're the one who threw it away. You're the one that got rid of the stuff talking about you don't need the storage and shit. Like you need something for something else. And then when it hit, you didn't have enough masks. You didn't have enough shit for the nurses and doctors. You had to get it from other countries and had to manufacture it. And while you were a complete fuck up, you tried to blame it on President Obama that these resources weren't there when it was left full, and you're the one that fucked up. Over and over again, ladies and gentlemen. Over and over again. They keep destroying us and try to take credit for anything anybody else does. And what they do, they push it off on somebody else if it doesn't work, and they act like they saved the world if it does work. By undermining science, Trump and his allies shift the public's dependence away from the institutions and back toward the leader. Chaos becomes a ladder, and discrediting experts clears the stage so that only the political voice remains. There's also a cynical economic calculation in this. The pharmaceutical industry already profits enormously from sickness and treatment. If vaccines, cheap, preventative, accessible, are undermined, then the business model tilts back toward expensive treatment and cures. So actors on fringe Right? So actors on the fringe openly fantasize about privatizing health to such an extreme that access becomes a form of social control. Only the wealthy or loyal can afford to survive. It is not always about a single master plan, but about reinforcing a system where disease is profitable and public health is expendable. They use division, as we all know, as a strategy. Vaccines should have been unifying. We should have unified around vaccines. Like I said, when 9/11 happened, we unified. We were under Bush at the time. We unified. When we had the stock crash, the housing crash like that, the majority of us unified around Obama. We didn't like the fact of, him having to bail out the banks, but we trusted him, and it turned out to be right because they paid everything off plus interest. But at the time, we had a little tiff with that. But economically, it was the smartest decision to make. We got behind it, and it ended up turning out okay. With Trump, they divided us. This was our 9/11 under Donald Trump. It was catastrophic. It killed more than 9/11. And because this man and his minions were basically the enemy inside the plane, destroying America, running that plane into America so many times over. That's why I want you to visualize. I think it was over 3,000 people in 9/11 that died on 9/11, right? There were 3,000 people dying a day because Donald Trump was telling them it was the flu and that they can go out and do whatever they're going to do. He made it political. Had it not been political, we would have been better at handling this disease. We couldn't do it because our president made it a political football. And you got our country divided on how to save our own lives when we should have been together, unified on saving all of our lives, babies and families, even though young people weren't being on it as much, right? So by turning this into a wedge issue, Trump created another battlefield in the culture war. Suddenly, whether you vaccinate your child became a tribal marker. Division keeps the population distracted, arguing with each other instead of uniting against corruption or incompetence. Hitler mastered this tactic by dividing Germans along racial and ideological lines, ensuring they'd fought imagined enemies instead of confronting the real one, him. Understand that. Hitler created problems so that the Germans would fight each other on imaginary enemies instead of confronting the true enemy, which was Hitler. Donald Trump completely creates problems and division so that you don't pay attention to the true fuck up, the true enemy of the state, and that is him, Donald Trump. We have, ladies and gentlemen, the enemies of this country running this country. Donald Trump does not love America. None of his minions do. It's all fake. They love Russia. They got more to say positive about Russia than their own country. I just want you to pay attention to that. He caters to them. He's excited about, I got a picture with him. It is surreal. We lost over 1 million Americans in COVID, and the tools that prevent it worse, vaccines, masks, public health guidance, are now being vilified. But denial is also a psychological shield. If people admit, and this is the reason why these people, I believe, aren't admitting what Donald Trump did. They're just rolling with it. Because if people admit science saved them, they must also confront that rejecting it killed their loved ones. So those people who got the vaccine, their jobs forced them to do it, whatever it may be, those people who got the vaccine, if they were to admit, and they hated it and they was telling everybody about it and saying you shouldn't take it, but I had to take it because of work. They didn't want it, they didn't like it. The fact that the truth is the vaccine did save lives. But they can't admit that, because if they do, the ones that they told not to take it, because you don't have to take it, my work made me take it, and their loved ones died from it, they have to admit they killed their loved ones. They took part in killing their loved ones. This is why many of them can't admit at all that the vaccine worked. That truth is unbearable for many, so they cling harder to the lie. Leaders exploit this vulnerability to keep followers locked in, even at the cost of more lives. Thank you for the memberships, Jen. I appreciate your 5 memberships. Thank you for the $10 donation. I appreciate you. I've sent you a text, my friend, when you have time to call, to talk, text me. No doubt. Thank you for the text. I appreciate the donation. I got another donation earlier, I think, from you as well. Thank you for that. Let me see what you said. My apologies. I was modding 2 live streams at the same time. Glad to join you. Enough time, even though I'm late. Oh, no worries, man. I appreciate you. All right, so we're going to get back to this. Let's see. Now, what is the goal? What is their goal? This is what we're trying to focus on, because again, I said earlier, the name of this is because Trump and his administration are trying to kill us. That's the role of a dictator. And this right here, I'm gonna go ahead and read this last part of this. So what is the goal? Not to save lives, but to consolidate power. Not to empower the public, us the people, but to weaken our trust in anyone but him, the leader. Whether that results in people dying is seen as collateral, or even as evidence that loyalty to the leader is the only path to safety. It's perverse, but history tells us it works, at least in the short run. In the long run, it leads to devastation. Germany lost some of its brightest minds in science and medicine because of Nazi ideology. America risks the same intellectual collapse if truth and expertise are dismantled. You see Donald Trump tearing down our bright people and putting idiots in and saying they're the bright ones. And those people do nothing but capitulate to him, get in a circle every once in a while in front of the media and just tell Trump, you're great, Trump, you're great, Trump, you're great, Trump, and that's it. And each time it gets longer and longer. This last one was well over 30 minutes. I don't know if it was even an hour. I didn't stick around for it. But 30 minutes into it, they were still going strong. Just, Donald Trump, you're so great. I said, dear leader, America, when are you going to wake up and see this shit? I mean, am I the only one seeing it? Are my people in here the only ones seeing it? I know people don't want to say nothing about Hitler, but we have to in order to tell people, look, go look at history. Hitler, 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 Hitler. Let's go look back at it and see what the hell he did at the very beginning Donald Trump is doing right now. And because you guys are wanting to focus on the end of his life and what he did to Jewish people at the end, the middle to the end, because it only lasted, 4 years? 1939 to 1945, 5 years, 6 years? Something like, I think it was like that. So what, 5, 6 years? It wasn't 400, it was 5 or 6 years of this shit. He started it. And it ended in 6 years. That's how fast this man went. Donald Trump has had 4 years the first time. And within that first one, he got people to distrust the media. Called it fake news. He got people to distrust facts. called it alternative facts. Got people to distrust the health and medicine, the CDC. Said it was Dr. Fauci's fault that the people were dying. Hitler did all of these things. Why on earth are Americans screaming, and Jewish people for that matter? Because you guys, it happened to you. It's your job to lead on something that your culture have went through. You should be leading on this, telling people exactly what it looks like, exactly what's happening. You should be the ones telling the stories of your grandma and grandpa who came back and told you who survived it, how it all started and how it ended. You should have personal stories about this shit and how it is exactly the same thing. But being quiet, complicit. You're no different. So you went through something via Hitler, and the new Hitler is here, and you're doing nothing. Doesn't make sense to me. Every black person I'm listening to out here screaming and yelling about it. Again, black people have to lead on shit with other people's, like what y'all went through. You should be the leader. I should be backing you up. You should be screaming Hitler, Hitler, Hitler. Instead, I do it. I get flack for it, but hey, look, my shit's based in facts. The emotion is just pissed off because these people aren't paying attention to the fucking facts. It's gonna suck that we end up being in a dictatorship, and you go back and look at my videos and I've been screaming at your dumb ass the entire time, but you didn't do nothing. It's gonna suck. Sacrificing us for the greater good. They're not thinking about us when they talk about make America great again. They want to go back to when leaders, rich people were powerful, and the rest of us were just here for them. The oligarchs, they're the rich ones, and everybody else just cowers. They have more power than just being a business person. They too can do stuff that the president can do. As long as they get permission, they can go and take over a whole area, buy it up, even though you're living there. As long as they got dear leaders' permission. Makes you feel a little more clear about at the inauguration how all those billionaires were sitting in areas where the government officials are supposed to be. The governors and senators and all that shit, they're supposed to be there. They're the ones in power. They're supposed to be in those seats. And the governors and the people who were elected were not in those seats. It was the billionaires in those seats, which signified that they were more powerful than our government officials that we elected into office. Same shit a dictator would do. We keep on just looking past it. I don't understand it. I'm screaming at the top of my fucking lungs. I don't understand it. This is not a fluke what they're doing. It is history repeating itself. I just wanted to tell you guys that because, again, a lot of people have no clue. This is the deal. I just gave you information. I gave you names, all of that. Scientists, facts. You can check me with and go back and look at it and look these names up that I mentioned and go into depth even deeper than I did tonight. And so you can be able to fact check me. And by doing so, you become just as educated on this as I am, or even more. Because everybody needs to know the truth. You can't defeat these lies unless you know the truth. These people are dealing with emotion and hate. They're not dealing with any facts. They have gotten a big percent of this country to be so consolidated in lies that, like I said before, all of us are on 15 different levels, different playing fields, trying to figure it all out. Our politicians are scatterbrained. They're all over the place doing this and doing that and doing that. Nobody's unifying. They're trying to find one leader to unify around so they can become the president or whatever. It's like, dude, it's bigger than that right now. Y'all need to get behind like one person and start working on it. And all y'all can, not even one person, one ideology. Say, you know what? This is what we need. This is what the people want. Fight, fight, fight. And get together and create a strategy. The more you fight, the person who is going to be president or should be president will rise to the top based on what America starts to trust and not trust. But y'all going in 15 fucking hundred different directions while they keep going in one hateful, unified bullshit direction. That's why the minority can beat the majority, because the minority doesn't have 4,000 thoughts. They have one. They don't have a possibility of this, that, and the third. They come together and unite around one, even if it's stupid. The more united you are and less division on certain things, people, especially dumb people, just automatically believe in that one thing. But we need to come out with facts, the truth about this shit, compared to what it is, and all of us get on the same plane. Instead of running 1,500 different directions. You can't solve shit that way. That's our problem. Thank you for the 20 memberships. I appreciate that. 5 on Fire. That's how we have to do it. There's no other way. We have to unify some way, somehow, around issues that we believe in. And one, before we even get into anything else, honestly, I'm not even thinking about healthcare. I'm not thinking about wages. I ain't thinking about none of that shit. I'm thinking about democracy. Democracy. Someone destroying our country as it stands. We need to focus on democracy. Fuck all the different plans and strategies. Donald Trump doesn't have one to defeat anything. He has no strategy. He has no plan other than destroy and him become dear leader. And if we don't get together and fight for democracy at all cost, we're going to lose it. Not hyperbole, it's history. And those who do not remember or know history, you are doomed to repeat it. So get to knowing it. Get to fighting it. Get to speaking about it and telling friends and loved ones about it. So that we can defeat something that we all should understand is trying to destroy everything we love. The way your kids, grandkids, or great-grandkids are going to be raised is determined upon your fight today. Do you want those kids raised under a dictatorship? Do you want less freedoms for your kids and grandkids than you had? Your daughters have less freedom right now than you had or your mother had. They don't have control of their own bodies. What next? What next has to fall before you start to realize democracy is on the line? I don't know. But educate yourselves on it. That's all I got to say. Thank you, DJ, for thanking Five Alarm Fire, appreciate you. Uh, Democracy should be a battle call, right, Dennis? I mean, we should all fight for that shit. I mean, anywhere you see somebody trying to fucking take away democracy, we gotta speak up. Can't allow that shit to happen. We gotta literally call everybody out who's trying to fuck with it. I call out Donald Trump and any of these other um, podcasters, politicians, whomever, Republicans who are not speaking up against Donald Trump. All of them got to go. All of them. There's no one that should be sticking around because there's not a good one in the bunch because they know what he's doing. Trust me, these people, now some of them are dumb as hell, but these people have spent their lives in politics. And they're always talking about socialism, socialism, Marxism. If they know what socialism is and Marxism is, they damn sure know what authoritarianism is. And they also know what a dictator looks like and what it's been like. They know it. Marco Rubio knows it. But they're ignoring it. That tells you right there they're an enemy of this country. There's no way you can be a lover of America and our democracy and capitalism for that matter if you're sitting here ignoring when somebody's trying to destroy all of it. And not only ignoring it, supporting it. All right, good night, Woke Mike. Have a good one, man. You got to crash out. You might be late. What's up, Alice? I see you. Uh, Five Alarm Fire, appreciate you. Who was that? Yeah, Apocalypse right now. We need to fight. And again, what that fight looks like depends on us. I mean, I'm talking about it and I've been trying my best to figure out like what can we do collectively. And I struggle. I struggle with it. I'm putting my voice out there, putting my face out there, all that. Uh, but there's more to be had. I mean, the marching again, those types of things are effective. Um, Calling the politicians effective, but it just seems like it needs to be way more. And that's where we put our collective minds together and try and figure it out. Um, Want to thank Mark D for being here. United we bargain, divided we beg. 100%. 100%. I see you, Vera. Michael McCullough. What's up? Sue Edge. These are all new members. Cat Mom, here's my take. Kendra, who will you remember as Hall? All right. Oh, you're welcome, Dennis Petro. The truth is what we need. More, we got Av, AVV, Crip Joy, I guess Rach, RACH, Mark, what is it? Garrity, DM Don, Eldon, Crazy, Peggy Peg, Sarat, 247 LNC, JKS, I'm going through these names. Phyllis, is it Green? Yeah. Music by Artemis at Night, Natalie Ferrier. She'd be like, for Fonz Hudgens, and Apple Jinx. I just saw Henry Winkler just the other day. I said, you sell Fonz. I'm like, oh, shit. Welcome. Who else? Mike Arlett. Rude Interplanet Janet, thank you for being here. Alice early, yeah. People kill me because they value inhumane treatment of human beings. It's it's horrible, but these people, they've been getting on my last nerve. I'm not one to think of just like I'm not even one who's like a big person on death penalty or nothing like that. But it's like when I don't even think about that. I just think about these people need to be behind bars. I mean, what they're doing is basically treason. I mean, they're putting the military out to destroy American life, uh, in the name of trying to be safe and crime and all that shit. It's intimidation is what they're doing. These people are out here making $530 a day to pick up some trash. It ain't even trashy. They're going over and picking up little shit, putting it in a bag. Some of them ain't even getting nothing. They're just walking alongside people putting shit in a bag, making $530 a day. How many Americans are making $530 a day? You should just hire regular citizens. You're gonna talk about picking up trash, but you got $1.1 million. But you fired all the people who were doing that job to begin with, and doing that job to begin with, they made less than $530 a day. So, like, spare me with this trying to save money bullshit. That's a game. They were in there destroying our country. Doge is all about destroying America. They ain't got shit to do with trying to save money. We're gonna save trillions of dollars and save like 100-something billion or whatever it was, and that is something that's kind of a stretch. Those numbers don't add up. Carmen, welcome. Polydex 108, welcome. Uniquely Me, Ariel Summers, and Shyler, welcome to the Mr. Straight Facts Show. I see Woke Mike is left. Graybeard said, don't forget Jared Kushner being put in charge of our medical supplies and said it was theirs. Yeah, Graybeard, he was 100%. Like I said, it's just, it's painful to watch. Like, you watch people who, everybody in my life, people of color in my life, let's put it that way, have had to work hard for what they got. If you got a job as an IT person, you had to have stellar IT skills. Even if it's an entry-level job, you had to fix something. You had to show that you were capable of doing it. You know what I'm saying? And if you couldn't do it, you weren't getting that job. And you go home all pissed off, like, I knew that I was supposed to do this, but man, I pushed the wrong button and didn't get the job. You beat yourself up. Worked your ass off, bought one of the machines, whatever, just to test it, so next time you get an interview, you can be able to do it on, if it ever happens again. You did everything you could to try and get that next job. You studied, you did whatever, and then you had that interview again, and you aced it, and you know damn well, because you worked hard, you deserved that fucking job. We got people who look in our faces and tell us they're going to fire the experienced people, and the idiot's going to get the job. I want my country back, because this isn't the country that I love. This right here is something totally different. It doesn't even feel right. It doesn't even feel like America. It feels like something totally different. I grew up realizing that the harder I worked, the more opportunities that will open doors for me. The more I stayed a learned person, a consummate learner, the wider the doors could become. Even fighting through racism and prejudice and shit like that, you still felt like the opportunity was there if you worked your ass off. It may take you longer than your white counterpart, but you could possibly get it done. Now, I'm having doubts about any of that shit. I'm worried about my kids. I'm worried about my nieces and nephews, how their lives going to be. Because this right here ain't it. They're trying to make it so healthcare, our CDC is going to be killing citizens, not helping them. And the only ones that are going to get the true information are going to be the ones who have enough money to buy the truth. Donald Trump has America for sale on all levels. Thank you for being here, B Money. I saw Mazareth. I took your message down, I guess. Was it Deborah Burgos? I don't know how much they're spending on the wall. I didn't see. Yeah, hey, $1.1 million a day, yet they had little money for COVID testing. And this is just to pick up trash. They said they're supposed to be there to help. The governor, the mayor of, I think it was, of Washington, D.C., said that crime is down because they're there. But she mentioned something else about what was going on there, that they didn't necessarily need them for what they're doing. But of course, when you put a military with weapons around, nobody's going outside because nobody's trying to uh, be caught up with just being, you know, walking around black or walking around a person of color. They don't want that. They figure whatever, I can wait it out. Because them leaving, crime's going to go back up. That's why I'm saying this whole thing was a ruse, because you got to think about it. If you don't have a structure or plan in place that's sustainable, crime's going to go up and like this, up and down like that, because you don't have a sustainable plan. What Washington, D.C. was doing before, it has been going down. So that's a plan. If you're going to do anything, whatever they were already doing, you throw more money behind it. Like that $1.1 million a day, you could probably put a good $250,000 a day and get, 20, 30 more officers, and you probably produce even better. And even if it ain't officers, whatever strategy they're doing, bolster that shit. Add more employees and whomever you're doing it, more community people with $250,000 a day. That crime can probably go down astronomically. But once these military people leave, it's going to go back up, and it might just skyrocket because of the fact that they're gone. And they're going to say, you know what? We're free to do it now. They're gone. So you want to have something sustainable that works. You're not going to be sustainable having a military every day. Because if they do, your taxes are going to go up. They have to. There's no way to sustain that. I see you, Jay's Collectibles. It was an absolute mess. Family members were on opposing sides. It was completely crazy. Oh yeah, family members were doing all that. I got. Luckily, in my family, everybody is either Democrat or don't vote. Uh, and with people who didn't vote, thank you for being here, Jen James. People who didn't vote, I was just as mad at them because I'm like, I don't know what you were thinking. How did you think that we were going to survive by not voting? What's up, Demetrius? If you didn't vote, it's going to be the same thing, right? Of course. We got the same problems, if not worse. If we would have had, like I said, I'm not trying to get MAGA reversed on their idiocy. I need people who didn't vote to get off their ass and vote. See what you're missing. That's why I juxtapose this to Hitler, because you need to see the drastic difference. Like everything I've said in the past, I guess year or so now, as I did it last year, I keep telling people it was like Hitler, and I kept giving you. I even wrote articles about it. I did videos about it. Trump whisper about it. I did everything I could to keep telling people this is Hitler shit here. It's all Hitler shit. It's the same thing as Hitler. And I've had people pissed off, and I'm like, dude, I don't care how pissed you got. If you are shitty at me and can't stand my guts, as long as you pay attention and do what the fuck I'm asking you to do, vote this bitch out. I don't care, hate me. But people, you want to either save your life or destroy it. Voting for Trump is destroying lives. And it's only a matter of time that it goes way beyond the people you hate. And it ends up at your doorstep. It's happened to a few white people already. They done lost their farm, done lost their business, voted for Trump, and they're crying and whining. It's just a matter of time. So either wise up, shut up, and just take it like a man or a woman, whichever one it is. When you start to lose your family members, your businesses, food out of your mouths because everything's going to skyrocket. Our jobs report should be coming out in a few days. And you're not going to get the right information. What is that going to do with other countries who invest in us? Donald Trump and his minions are not going to report it if it's bad. We're going to have to wait on whistleblowers. And Lord knows, I pray to God that some people are out there whistling their ass off. Because if they don't, America's going to see some real pain. Mark my words. You need to be saving. You need to be prepared for this. Store your money. Invest if you must. If you have it like that, if you don't, even micro investing, meaning investing your money into, long-term or 401ks if you can, CDs, bonds if you got it like that. Because honestly, I don't see any way of defeating this if our politicians don't defeat it. We got to wait to vote. That's next year. We're in trouble. Got to fight it. I don't know. Like I said, I'm watching these politicians. The only one I'm seeing is really fighting back. And I've seen others fight back too. Don't get me wrong. Jasmine Crockett. But Gavin Newsom is the one that's lighting up everybody. These Republicans are getting pissed at him. And, that's the only two. All right, guys. I'm about to get out of here. I appreciate y'all. Hopefully we learned something today. Add something to your mind to think about. Something you can study if you want. But we'll be back here tomorrow around the same time. 5:30, 6 o'clock around that time, Pacific Standard Time. And we'll just share the facts again. Please stay educated about this stuff. Learn about the shit that Hitler's doing or did, and how Donald Trump is doing them. It may be other leaders you want to look at that have recently done it. But Donald Trump is following their plan, their playbook. And he's acting stupid because he don't want people. He's not going to tell his people that he's trying to turn it into fucking 1939, 1940s Germany. He's not going to tell you that. It'll destroy the plan. So stay aware. Good night to everybody. Much love to y'all. I'll see some of y'all tomorrow. Be safe. See you when I see you.